The opening round of the season kicked off in front of a sold-out crowd in the Hunter.
Friday night footy, back on Fox League. Flanagan, the floater, here's trouble, here's a try!
And after a nervous start, it was Daniel Saifidi leading the charge.
Here's a beautiful pass, and Daniel Saifidi, he was celebrating before he got there. Oh, it didn't take Newcastle long to hit straight back.
In game 100, the skipper finished the game with 2 tries and 3 points from the coaches.
Thrower has a double. This is a 100th game to savour.
In slippery conditions, the Knights never looked out of control, with a rampaging David Clemmer scooping 2 points, while a tenacious Jayden Brailey finished with 1 point in his return from an ACL injury. In what was another wet night on the Central Coast, the Knights met a determined Warriors outfit. It was the forwards who were forced to duke it out in a tight battle in the middle, which saw Mitch Barnett grabbing 2 points and a creative Brailey nabbing 1.
Brailey fighting to get to ground, and Grant Atkins says he has.
But when it came to settling the contest, it was Bradman who found his best. The tearaway centre set up his winger with 2 incredible assists, securing 3 points for himself and 2 competition points for his side away from home.
The Newcastle Knights are back in front.
Back at home for Sunday afternoon footy, another sold-out crowd crammed into McDonald Jones Stadium for Mitchell Pearce's 300th game. In what was an incredibly exciting contest with the lead changing a number of times, it was ultimately a heartbreaking afternoon for the Knights. Despite the loss, there was no lack of fight from the side, with Connor Watson leading the way in his newfound home in the middle. Watson set up Pearce with this try.
Pearce in his 300 will score the try.
And gave everything for his side in what was a 3-point performance. Jayden Brailey's tireless work from dummy half was again rewarded with the coaches, giving him 2 points, while Mitch Barnett collected 1. Come round 4, it was the Dragons making the trip north, with over 24,000 fans awaiting for the return of Voice for Mining round. With both sides getting to work, it was again Connor Watson who led from the front, with the crafty middle awarded 3 points from the coaches. A first half field goal from Kurt Mann and a second career try for Josh King had the Knights in control of the contest. However, it was the moment that stole the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
If you're going to do a pick, it's the way you'll do it.
Despite the setback, the Knights fought hard up the middle, with Desaf and Browse grabbing the remaining points. However, it was the Dragons who ultimately proved too good, handing the Knights their second loss of the season. The trip north of the border to face the Gold Coast promised plenty, with Kalyn Ponga making his long-awaited return from a shoulder injury. However, it was the Titans who were in total control. Despite the loss, Brodie Jones showed a sign of things to come, with a 3-point performance off the bench. KP showed what the side had been missing by scoring this electric try and 2 points.
Now it's his turn to take on Brimson. It's a foot race, and it's Kalyn Ponga.
While Anari Tuala collected 1. Friday night footy returned to McDonald Jones Stadium in round 6, with the Sharks making the trip up the M1. Scores remained tight throughout the contest, but cometh the hour, cometh Kalyn Ponga.
Beautiful pass for Zell. Keeps it going. Ponga! Yes! Ponga! He has done it!
The reigning Denny Badiris medal winner finished with 2 tries, 2 try assists, and all 3 points from the coaches. Kurt Mann scored this try and 1 point, while a standout performance from Brodie Jones in the centres earned him 2 points in the 26-22 victory. Round 7 saw Anzac Round make its return following a 1-year hiatus, with the Knights tasked with one of the toughest away trips in the modern game. The unbeaten Panthers showed why they are considered competition heavyweights, despite a brave performance from our troops. Kurt Mann set up this try for Stafford Toa.
Well, Mann's through here. How did he get through? There were tacklers everywhere. Now Edwards up against Stafford Toa. He left him behind. He's going to score.
And fought hard to the very end, earning himself maximum points from the coaching staff. Ponga polled for the 3rd game in a row after a brave performance at the back, while Jacob Saifiti earned his first points of the season, with the coaches awarding him 2. A week on from the loss to Penrith saw the Knights meet the Roosters. In what was an extremely disappointing night, everything seemed to go right for the boys from Bondi.
Morris with the offload, and at the end of it, the kid's got another one.
Despite the loss, JSAF fought for every metre and stood tall in defence, earning himself 3 points. Suaso Su also held his head up high with a 2-point performance, while Pasami earned 1. Round 9 saw the Knights travel to Wagga to face the desperate Canberra Raiders. Things couldn't have gotten off to a worse start, with the Knights trailing 16-0 at the break. Enter KP. Ponga produced his short kick-off and turned the game on its head, with the coaches awarding his efforts with 1 point. Jaden Brayley secured the come-from-behind win with this try and a man-of-the-match performance, while Daniel Saifiti maintained touch by polling 2 points in a heart-stopping win in the bush. The Knights and the Tigers kicked off Magic Round at Suncorp Stadium, with the Novocastrians looking for a second win on the bounce. What followed was a night to forget. While not all went right for the Knights, Connor Watson again stood tall with a 3-point display off the bench. Tyson Frizzell scored his 2nd try in as many weeks, and 2 points, while Daniel Saifiti pressed his Origin credentials with a 1-point performance in the 36-18 loss. An informed Cowboys side awaited the Knights for the 3rd straight away trip on the bounce, and wasting little time getting started. Facing a big deficit early, the Knights fought hard to level the scores, with debutant Simi Sasagi producing this piece of magic to put the Knights in front.
And the youngster with the flick pass and the try, that's spectacular!
The depleted Knights outfit ultimately fell short. It wasn't for a lack of go forward with the Saifiti twins, Jacob and Daniel taking out the top 2 points. Co-captain Jaden Brayley also nabbed 1 point to maintain touch with the leaders. Indigenous Round and a red-hot Manly side arrived on a Wabakal land for round 12. And early on, it was the Sea Eagles who set the tone. However, the round belonged to Connor Watson. Watson was everywhere, putting in a man-of-the-match performance at 5'8". JSAF continued in good form with 121 run metres and 2 points off the bench, while Phoenix Crosland showed maturity beyond his years to earn 1. While he didn't poll any votes, who could forget this moment from DSAF?
Here's Daniel Saifiti for the win!
The Knights running out 18-10 victors. Old Boys Day come early as the club celebrated the 20th year anniversary of the 2001 Premiership, as well as the arrival of Jake Clifford in front of a capacity crowd. Unfortunately, the clash was all Parramatta, with the blue and gold side on fire from the opening whistle against an understrength Knights. Watson was again best on ground for his side, fighting hard and running for 144 metres in the middle. And Ari Tuala scored this try.
Oh, good ball, Johns.
and 1 vote, while Jacob Saifiti stood up in the absence of Daniel to add 2 points to his tally. Looking to bounce back from the last start loss, the Knights travelled down the M1 for what would be the final time in 2021. Moving to the centres, Kurtman scored this 4-pointer and 3 points from the coaches. Daniel Saifiti made a successful return from Origin duty to score 2 points, while twin brother Jacob polled for the 4th game in a row. But it wasn't to be for the Knights, with an Alex Johnson hat-trick sealing a 24-10 win for the Bunnies at Stadium Australia. Beanie for Brain Cancer round returned in 2021, with the Knights needing a win following a tough few weeks. The cavalry began to return, in the form of one Mitchell Pearce.
Pearce with it, kept alive, Fitzgibbon, Jones.
In a game of inches, Jaden Bradley produced this incredible try saver on a flying Reece Walsh to secure himself 2 valuable points. Mitch Barnett tackled everything that moved to earn himself 1 vote. But man of the match honours again went to Daniel Saifiti. 207 run metres, 4 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, and all 3 points for the New South Wales front rower. The Knights welcomed back Kalyn Ponga for what would unfortunately be the last game of the season in Newcastle. Luckily, the Knights left the fans with a 10 out of 10 performance to remember them by.
Watson is over.
212 metres, 2 tries, 2 try assists and 2 points from the coaching staff, making a successful return for the Prince of Newcastle. While it was Daniel and Jacob Saifiti laying a terrific platform for the outside backs, allowing for magic moments like this.
Ponga then kicks over to the corner to Young to score. Dominic Young scores.
3 points to Jacob and 1 to Daniel, as the Knights firmly got themselves back in the finals hunt. After a week off, which included a COVID-forced relocation to the sunny coast, the Knights were tasked with facing a Melbourne Storm side who could do no wrong. Losing Ponga to a HIA early on, the Storm showed why they deserved premiership favouritism with a clinical display on the Gold Coast. In a beaten team, Josh King stood tall in the middle and claimed best on ground honours from the coaching staff. Connor Watson did everything he could to spark his side, playing a hand in this try and earning 1 point.
Chance, Dom Young.
While the evergreen Heimel Hunt claimed 2 points on a night to forget for the Novocastrians. Playing for the first time at their new home away from home, the Knights were keen to amend the last start loss. Things couldn't have gotten off to a better start. Jacob Saifiti surged across the line for this try.
Jacob Saifiti right through the middle.
With another stellar performance up front, earning him another 2 points on the leaderboard. Unfortunately, that's where the joy ended for the Knights, with the resurgence of the Roosters piling on the points. DSAF worked tirelessly in defence and attack, earning 1 point from the coaches. But it was Connor Watson, who was again seen as the side's man of the match, claiming his 6th 3-point haul for the season. With the finals edging ever closer, a must-win rematch loomed with Canberra at Suncorp Stadium. Desperately needing a win to kickstart their finals charge, the Knights slotted into top gear, coinciding with the return of the Don. The tearaway centre waited little time to return to his best, scoring this try.
Ponga sets it up for Best. He's over.
And tearing the Raiders apart on the left edge. Best claimed all 3 points from the coaching staff. Anari Tuwala reaped the rewards of his centre's blistering form, scoring 3 tries and 2 votes from the coaches. While Kalen Ponga scored this scintillating try,
Take their position. Ponga straight past, had to win a niner. He's over, Kalen.
and 1 point as the season turned for home. Round 21 saw the Knights return to Suncorp Stadium just 4 days after defeating the Raiders. Luckily for O'Brien's men, Mitchell Pearce was back in the team. Pearce crossed for this try, set up one other, and ran nearly 100 metres in a performance which earned him 2 votes. Daniel Saifidi again led from the front, earning 1 point from the coaches. But in a familiar story, it was his twin brother leading the charge. JSAF steamrolled the Broncos pack, didn't miss a single tackle, and was awarded maximum votes, with the Knights moving 1 step closer to the top 8. Round 22 brought a showdown with the Sharks in Redcliffe.
Oh, look at this for a start. Newcastle have won it.
After taking the lead early, the Knights were forced into a tough battle, but unfortunately for Cronulla, that's where our enforcer thrives. Mitch Barnett pulled off 2 of the season's most impressive try savers.
Now Metcalf. This is good stuff from Metcalf. Oh, what about the steal from Barnett?
Which proved critical to both the 2 points victory and his 3-point haul. Kalen Ponga produced another top performance to snare 2 points, while Jacob Saifidi pushed his case forward by scooping 1 vote, the 2-point win putting the Knights back in the top 8. Returning to the Gold Coast a week later, the Knights met the Bulldogs looking for their 4th win on the bounce. In a delicate contest that could have gone either way, Clifford stood tall when it counted, scoring this try and sweeping all 3 points from the coaches. David Clemmer once again came back to haunt his former club, leading the way up the front with 2 points in the absence of Daniel Saifidi. But you can't forget JSAF. Another big performance from the forward earned him 1 vote, with the Knights taking out a 22-16 win. The penultimate round of the season saw the Knights return to their home away from home on the sunny coast, with a win guaranteed their spot in the finals. Falling behind early, the Knights were required to dig deep, with Jayden Brailey polling 1 point, with an inspirational display in the middle. Kalen Ponga produced a piece of magic with this try to keep his team in the game. But with the scores tight late in the contest, there was one man who stood up above them all. Pearce crossed for a critical second half try, before icing this 80th minute field goal to seal a final spot for his side and 3 points from the coaches. The Knights securing back-to-back finals appearances for the first time in nearly 20 years. The final clash of the regular season saw the Knights make a 4th visit to Suncorp Stadium, minus plenty of senior players. A young Knights outfit fought gallantly, with the second half comeback falling short after an impressive game performance from the Broncos. Chris Randall proved why he belongs in the top grade, scoring this try and maximum points from the coaches. Anari Tuala scores his 10th try of the season and 1 vote, while Jacob and Daniel sidelined for the final round and unable to poll. All eyes were on Watson as the regular season come to a close. Watson polled 2 points,